Within Blue Lock, chemical reactions are formed when players mesh their skills together to create a situation that results in a positive outcome for both players. And throughout the series, we've seen so many different chemical reactions of players that display each of their incredible techniques and abilities. But out of all of those chemical reactions, which of them are really the best? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my top 10 chemical reactions in the Blue Lock series. Some chemical reactions you may not think of will be higher up, and some of your favorites may not actually make the list. I do have to warn you that this video will contain spoilers for up to chapter 270 of the Blue Lock manga, as well as spoilers for the more recent episode 90 chapters. So if you aren't caught up on either storyline, I would suggest clicking out this video right now because there will be spoilers. Coming in at the bottom of the list, but still impressive enough to make the top 10, we have the newly formed chemical reaction of Michael Kaiser and Kiora Jin. Kaiser x Kiora is a chemical reaction created thanks to the newly awakened ego of Kaiser, combined with the borderlining philosophy of Kiora. This chemical reaction allowed for Kaiser to successfully complete his Magnus shot, surpassing Isagi and scoring against PXG. Now, while this chemical reaction did allow for Kaiser to score a world-class go, there are several reasons as to why it's ranked at the bottom of the list. The first being that this chemical reaction is very situational. Kaiser had his throne stolen, happened to be struggling with Ness, and then got lucky with Kyora's backspin pass to score the goal. Despite Kaiser being a new Gen 11, there isn't much to this chemical reaction that we can really give credit to. We don't know what Kiora is really capable of doing, seeing as he hasn't done much in this game, and hasn't done much in the episode Nagi side story as of right now. Besides that, Kiora himself said that it's unknown whether he's going to ally with Kaiser again, so it's very low on reproducibility. Following in number 9, we have the chemical reaction that we all love to see, a fan favorite, being Isagi x Corona. Isagi x Corona, also known as Planet Hotline, was first revealed in the Manshan City match of the NEL, and has honestly been the baseline for the majority of Isagi's attacking patterns throughout the NEL. Through the use of Isagi's metavision and assistance by Corona, these two players use a connection of quick 1-2 passes to break past defenders, allowing for Isagi to get into the perfect position to score a goal. Metavision allows a player to essentially see the future based on observations of the opponents and allies around them. With Isagi's use of metavision, he's able to view the most critical points on the field and create a strategy to score goals. And with Corona on support, given his high speed stat and sharp turning, Corona can orbit Isagi, staying at the perfect distance to receive the ball in a situation where Isagi gets pressured. This can lead to a system of 1-2 passes that allows for Isagi to push down the field, reading the plays of allies and enemies alike, to ensure the most efficient outcome. Now, this chemical reaction isn't bad by any means, but the thing keeping it in the 9th place spot is actually Corona himself. If Corona gets stopped either due to someone with speed that can rival him, or simply the physique or vision to stop him, this chemical reaction is essentially dead in the water. Another issue is that due to this chemical reaction being rooted in constant 1-2 passes, it's a lot easier to steal the ball, seeing as there's constant moments where neither Corona nor Isagi actually has possession. Following that fan favorite chemical reaction, we have another one that took both us and the Blue Lock world by storm. In 8th place, we have Charles x Shido. Charles and Shido work very similar to how Shido works with Sai, where Charles will hit a pass and Shido rushes to the perfect area to score. With this chemical reaction, Shido was able to score the first goal against Master München, sparking the awakening and future addiction of Charles. Now, despite this chemical reaction being so similar to his with Sai, there are a lot of things that keep it in 8th place. The first being Charles' impish and childlike nature. Being very similar in personality to Bachira, Charles is very immature and very fresh to the game, and yet is still a prodigy. His motivation for play is very addictive, where once he finds something that he likes, he simply becomes fixated on it. We see that despite having the option of passing to Rin, Charles still ignores him to pass to Shido simply because he enjoyed the previous result. And this leads into another issue with this chemical reaction, the same with Kaiser and Kiora, that being reproducibility. Saying that this chemical reaction is hard to reproduce isn't exactly true. It's more in line with the more that this chemical reaction is attempted, the less likely it is to succeed. It's very useful for surprising the opposing team, as Shido's quick reactions and instinctual movements can easily throw any team off guard if they aren't prepared. However, after seeing it and taking precautions, it's fairly easy to defend against, seen with Kunigami effectively eliminating the possibility of this chemical reaction happening again. It's great for a one-time thing, a jokerish play if you will, but the more that they try to use this to turn the tides of the field in their favor, the less likely they are to succeed. Now, coming up in 7th place, we have an oldie but a goodie, and one that you may not actually agree with, but in 7th place, we have Nagi x Ryo. Now, despite the current decline of both Nagi and Ryo, I strongly believe that this chemical reaction stands at the top of the charts. Nagi and Ryo's chemical reaction is formed by Ryo simply making it easy for Nagi to score goals. And when you think about it, it's very similar to Sai and Shido, just swap in Ryo and Nagi respectively. More recently though, Nagi and Ryo have begun working together again after their breakup in the 2nd selection, which has allowed their plays to elevate. The main problem with this chemical reaction is simply Nagi himself. What people fail to realize is that the decline of Nagi and Ryo is simply simply due to the mindset that Manchan and Agi have been trying to force upon them. They've been constantly pushing the idea of creativity, but that's where Nagi lacks in. In the match against Ubers, we see Nagi hesitate when Lorenzo appears. This wasn't because of Ryo, who actually told him to shoot, it was because Nagi was trying to find a way to score with this new Gen 11 in his way. And even then, he was still able to shoot. It's simply just a mindset problem. Once Nagi overcomes this mindset issue though, this chemical reaction will most definitely rank in the top 3 of the entire verse. But right now, the boys are just struggling. But you wait. They're gonna get their get back. Now coming up in the 6th place spot, we have the chemical reaction that led Bastard Munchen to victory over Ubers, that being the chemical reaction of Isagi x Hiyori. Isagi and Hiyori is a chemical reaction heavily reliant on the use of metavision. This combination is able to draw out the ability's fullest potential, allowing for these characters to link up with each other without having any form of communication. Now given how powerful a single metavision user is, I think it's obvious to say that 2 metavision users is insanely powerful when both of these characters are drawing out their maximum potential. There isn't much I can truthfully say on this chemical reaction that could be regarded as a negative. I think these 2 players just need to be seen playing together more, and that way we can get a better scope on their game chemistry. Now before revealing the top 5, if you guys are enjoying this video, leave a like and subscribe down below so you can see more content just like this. Coming in at number 5, we have a chemical reaction that led one single player to become a 100 million yen man in only one game, that being the chemical reaction between Burū and Lorenzo. Burū x Lorenzo is the newest new Gen 11 chemical reaction that we've seen in the series, and it definitely deserves to be in the top 5. Being a new Gen 11, Lorenzo has the ability to steamroll through entire teams on his own through the use of his zombie dribbling and supreme technique. And from only a single pass, Burū is able to use his predator eye and powerful middle shot to score goals that leave even the goalkeeper unable to move. Now you may say, oh, wasn't Isagi able to stop Burū consistently over and over again? Why is this even ranked in the top 5? When referencing the chemical reaction between Burū and Lorenzo that Isagi continued to stop, you could consider that the Burū x Lorenzo chemical reaction Mark 1. This formula was hinged on Burū shooting at a specific time in a specific way, but after overthrowing Ubers, Burū becomes more unpredictable, allowing for the build-up to remain the same. It's simply the ending that changes, and because the build-up is the exact same, it's still just as difficult to stop down Lorenzo. So take Mark 1, which can only be stopped by the second best metavision user in the series, and increase its intensity, unpredictability, and power, and you have a chemical reaction befitting the top 5. Pulling up in the number 4th spot, we have the chemical reaction that founded Bastard Munchen's philosophy, that being Kaiser x Ness. Now despite what people may say in its current performance, this chemical reaction is no doubt one of the best in the entire series. Isagi said it himself that this chemical reaction founded the rational and efficient style of Bastard Munchen, which even led Kaiser to taking over this team from the original tryouts. Having the ability to shoot with the fastest swing speed in the world, producing arguably the fastest shot in the world, is an incredible weapon. And when you combine that with a midfielder whose entire ego is creating plays and make it easy for a striker to score, there's no way that this chemical reaction doesn't deserve to be in the top 5. Unfortunately, this chemical reaction was unable to reproduce the Magna shot that Kaiser had created. It still has the ability to produce situations that allow for easy goal scoring opportunities, and that in itself is still impressive. The only reason that this chemical reaction isn't regarded in top 10 by many fans is simply because of the amount of time it was given to actually shine. Thanks to Blue Lock's faction directly opposing Kaiser, they actively tried to suppress them by stealing passes or just limiting their options. But we see even from the tryouts that this chemical reaction is insane so long as your allies aren't actively trying to suppress you. Pulling up in the 3rd place spot, we have the chemical reaction that is probably the most popular among the Blue Lock community and what I would regard as the best duo chemical reaction, that being Sai x Shido. Sai x Shido was a chemical reaction that debuted in the match of the Blue Lock 11 vs Japan's under-20 team. This duo was able to bring the Japan U20 team back to a tie within just 13 minutes of Shido being on the pitch. Not only do I regard Sai as the best new Gen 11 that we've seen so far, but I regard Shido as one of the most pure strikers in the entire series. Truthfully, when it comes to Shido, especially current Shido, I consider him to be a very overrated character who's simply just a one-trick pony. However, that one trick as of the U20 match was the most deadly weapon on the pitch. Having Sai, a player who could single-handedly destroy all of Blue Lock alone if he wanted to, be your support player is an insane benefit. Coupled with a player whose entire philosophy of life is playing soccer and scoring goals, along with the physical specs to score miracle goals, is an incredibly deadly duo. The only downside to this chemical reaction is that if you're able to contain Shido, this chemical reaction effectively dies. Same with Ryo's copy ability, if you can simply force Shido to trap the ball, his deadliness lowers dramatically. He's essentially the same as Isagi in the U20 match with his direct shooting, except Isagi can do more than just shoot, unlike Shido. So the main carrier of this chemical reaction is most definitely Sai, and considering that we didn't see Sai start trying until 15 minutes till the game ended, it's easy to say that this chemical reaction was capable of way more than what we just saw. Coming in at 2nd place, we have a tri-chemical reaction that is undoubtedly deserving of this spot with the Barcha link-up of Bachira, Otoya, and Lavanho. Now you may be thinking, where the hell did we see this chemical reaction? And to answer that question, we actually didn't. According to Hiyori, Lavenho was subbed onto the pitch, which allowed for Barcha to bring themselves back to a tie against PXG. The easiest way to argue this being number 2 is simply because of Lavenho being a master striker and all. But to be able to level themselves against PXG in only 3 minutes, when PXG themselves was able to score 2 goals on Barcha within 5 minutes, is incredibly impressive. And having supporting characters like Bachata who can mirror Lavenho's dribbling, and Atoya who can await passive within the blind spots of other players, makes this triple threat an actual threat. The easy number 1 answer to the best chemical reaction in this series is Isagi x Corona x Noa. Now if you couldn't see this coming, which I'm honestly surprised if you couldn't, considering any chemical reaction containing the best striker in the world is no doubt going to put you in the top 10. Not only do you have the previous benefits of Planet Hotline, but now you throw in the best striker in the world to handle the bigger threats, and you're basically untouchable. I mean, with Isagi and Corona already being in the top 10 of chemical reactions, putting in Noa is simply just overkill. See this chemical reaction happen in the Manchan City match where Isagi uses Noah to handle Kaiser and Chris Prince, the 2 biggest threats to his performance, leaving himself and Corona to handle the rest of Manshine. At this point in the series, I honestly believe that this is the peak of Isagi's metavision, being able to easily predict Chigade's movements, Kaiser's movements, Chris Prince's involvement, and Nagi's press. He was even able to predict Kaiser's interruption at the end of the play, which led him to assisting Yukimiya to win the game. If you really want to argue the best chemical reaction in the series, this is easily it. That's all for the video, and that was my top 10 chemical reactions in Blue Lock. If you don't want to include any chemical reactions containing the master strikers, then Sai x Shido is easily the best dual chemical reaction in the series. I hope you guys did enjoy this video and will leave requests for future videos down below in the comment section. I would also like to announce that this channel has its first partnership with a group of people called MOOGYWOOGIES. MOOGYWOOGIES is a group of designers who create charms, pins, and stickers from famous shows like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and yes, Blue Lock. They're super down to earth and really nice people who really care about anime and manga. Their stuff is super high quality, where I actually have a ton of One Piece pins here, including Ace, Gear 5 Luffy, and Yamato. And then on this side, we have a bunch of their Devil Fruit pins, which are also, again, really high quality. And then I have this Isaki charm here, along with this Blastoise Munchin charm that they custom made, which is also super cool. And then I also have a Bachata sticker on my iPad, which also came from the store, so if you want stuff like this, go check them out. I've had all of their products for around a year now, and none of them have even degraded in quality at all, and I love them, and I don't regret buying them at all. I actually ended up buying out their entire Blue Lock sticker collection, which is like over 30 custom designs, so yeah, I have a problem with spending money. But they're wanting to start pushing out more Blue Lock enamel pins and charms and metal pins, and they can't really do that because they don't have a lot of Blue Lock fans who are wanting those products. So this is your chance to help me and them. Go to their page and just check their stuff out. If it seems like something that interests you, buy some stuff. It'll help them get more money, and that way they can start funding the Blue Lock enamel pins and metal pins and charms, and we get more Blue Lock stuff. And for my One Piece fans, they're going to be releasing a lot of new One Piece stuff, so keep on the lookout for that. And by the way, this isn't a paid partnership. They're not paying me to say any of this. I'm just doing it of my own accord because I love their stuff, and I know that a lot of you guys will too. So if you are interested in checking them out, you can click the link at the top of the description, or just type this into your search bar as it appears here, and go to their shop and check their stuff out. Because the more Blue Lock fans who actually go to their store, the more likely we are to get more Blue Lock products. So please help me out. I'm wanting to get some Blue Lock pins, and this is the easy way to do that. And if you can, let them know that I sent you, because I think it'd be super funny. For the question of the video, which 2 players would you like to see form a chemical reaction that haven't so far? Leave me your thoughts down below. And like always, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more content just like this.